Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be going over the LeetCode problem, maximum subarray. So first, let's read the question. Given an integer array nums, find the subarray which has the largest sum and return its sum. So before I go any further, I want to explain what a subarray is. So a subarray is a contiguous part of another array. And what I mean by that is the elements in a subarray, they have to be consecutive in the actual array. So for example, -2, 1, -3 is a valid subarray because these elements are consecutive in the nums array. But -2, -3, 4 is not a valid subarray because it skips over this element, the 1. So a subarray, the elements in a subarray have to be consecutive in the actual or original array. So let's go to whiteboard and let me explain how we can solve this. So first, I'm going to use two variables. One I'll call max sum, and I'll denote it as ms. And this will be set to negative infinity. One thing I want to mention is I'm using Python. So a lot of the stuff I write here, it'll be in Python pseudocode. And this max sum is what will be returned at the end. And we have another variable called cursum. I'll denote this as CS, and this will be initialized to 0. So what we're going to do is we're going to loop through the nums array. The nums array is the input array, and for each iteration, we're going to try to update our cursum and our max sum. So let me explain how. So first, the loop. And again, I'm using like Python, like pseudocode code here. So let me briefly explain what this means. So CS, cursum, for each iteration will be the maximum between itself plus the element that we're currently at, which is the element that we're at. So let me explain this num part first. This part is used to remove negative prefixes. So for example, let's say that let's say our nums array looks like something like this: -10, -10, -10, 1. Because we want to find the largest sum, we know that negative numbers not only won't help us, but they'll actually like hinder us, right? So we want to avoid negative numbers as much as possible. So assuming this is a nums array, right? And we're like looping through each of these elements. At the beginning, because of these -10s, CS will be some minus number. But we don't want this minus number, right? So at the first, I guess like non-negative number, this 1, what we do is we just take on this 1 instead and basically pretend that these 3 negative times never exist yet. So yeah, so this part here is used to remove negative prefixes. And this part is just used for like adding consecutive numbers, or adding consecutive elements. And so that's how we're going to update our CS. And our MS, or max sum, is just the max between itself and cursum. And finally, we just return MS, like I mentioned before. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So let me go here and show you the code. So like I mentioned before, our cursum variable is going to be initialized to negative infinity. So our maximum variable is going to be initialized to negative infinity. Our cursum is going to be initialized to 0. We're going to loop through the nums array. And for each iteration, or each element that we pass through, we're gonna update cursum and maximum like mentioned before. Let me move my mouse. And finally, we just return maximum. Let me quickly run this code. Okay, looks like it works. Let's admit it. And yeah, you can see that this solution is valid. And the time complexity of this is O of n because we're looping through the nums array once. And the space complexity is O of 1 just because we have we only have like 2 variables, and those variables it doesn't matter like the length of nums. Like nums can have 1 element or a million element or a billion elements, and we will only still have those 2 maximum and cursum variables, and they don't change based on like the length of nums. So that's the solution for this problem. Thanks for watching.